Welcome to our series of TM1 webinars, or as we call it, IBM Planning Analytics these days. We are extremely lucky to have Svetlana, who's been with IBM for over 20 years and has been TM1 product manager since IBM acquired TM1 many years ago. So today we'll be focusing on forecasting, AI forecasting, ML forecasting. That is one of areas that Svetlana specializes in. And as you know, that this is probably a key area that most of us who've been around TM1 for a long time absolutely love and use this feature and function. So this is the main reason that most people buy TM1, and this is the main thing that people use TM1 for. Forecasting has become more and more prevalent as economy changes, as there's more and more volatility in the economy. Most organizations need to forecast, reforecast, and do the rolling forecast. And that's not only that. Within sort of AI technology coming into the fore, it is almost a given that you need to start focusing on using the technology, the AI technology, the ML technology that you have available in your TM1 today. You should start utilizing it. So today's session, we will be focusing a lot more or only on the forecasting and how to ensure that you are making the max use of the feature and functions that's already there. So that what we're talking about here today, you don't have to buy anything additional. So without taking too much of your time, I would like to hand over to Svetlana so she can take us through her forecasting. The other cool thing is, because she's a product manager, and she can not only talk about the latest features that have dropped, but she can also go through the roadmap. So she'll take us through the roadmap of what's coming in TM1 as well. And that's what we are most excited about. So over to you, Svetlana. Thank you.
Thank you, Amendra, for such a warm welcoming into our, presentation today. And I will do just one small correction. Yes, that's true. What I've been with IBM for over 20 years, and it's true what I've been using TM1 as my product, but I've been application developer. So you all know probably 24 retail sample, and it was in my hands, and other products, like Cognos planning and the enterprise planning was also with certain applications and examples what our business partners and clients would be able to look at and start not from scratch. So, but eventually I became a product manager, and to me, like IBM product managers were more like gods who decide the fate of a product. So I'm so happy now because I can influence, the product, and like especially I am with modeling, where like I used to be using TM1 architect, but now we are delivering modeling workbench, right, in planning analytic workspace. So all my heart with making people with more capabilities, modern capabilities, and take it into a different level, because we all know what TM1 is 40 years plus. So it was when I was in school, it was already helping people to plan and forecast, but for me it's still like one of the best inventions what been done in terms of functional database, right? So sparsity of data can be handled, and feeders are helping people to make it working. So it's kind of like still revolutionary on the market, and I'm very happy to present today to everybody who is joining the call. And so it would be about our existing features. So if you have your planning analytic workspace license, you can start using it, adopt it. Exactly as Amendra mentioned it, like planning cycle is becoming shorter. Forecasting is essential for your business. So you are using the best approaches. So that's what I'm going to present today. So AI forecasting been in my hand for several years, and I've been with many clients listening to them and adjusting our roadmap based on the client stories. So now I will just start my screen and let me share my presentation. So we will start from slides. Let me just entire
Well,
screen.
while you're getting that on, Svetlana, just a quick reminder to everyone, this is going out on multiple channels. But if you have a question, drop it into the chat or anywhere that you can see us, or drop us a line, and we will try and answer all the questions as we go and at the end as well. Thank you.
Okay, so I will try to go through my slides with, like starting with disclaimer. What we are claiming for the roadmap, we might decide to change, but we do dedicate our deliveries to the roadmap. And you can see our updates live on a roadmap available via the link. We can probably share it after. So how we started with that feature, AI-based forecasting. We started with that because we've been listening to our clients all around the world. And what we were hearing from them, it was about the planning process, how it could be done better, how it could be done in a more convenient way, so it would be productive, efficient, and I don't know, not like I can just concentrate on making decision, not on like boring task. Also in a scope was like how I can increase what the accuracy of our plans and forecasts are high, because there are so many risks and so many requests and we have to deal with it. And also, if you already have a product, there is a question from our clients how I can adopt to our planning tools faster, because as you know, we are going from the legacy tools to the modernized tools of planning analytic workspace and PA. We've been hearing very successful client stories what are coming with the help of the business partners. And what we noticed, what for example, all those three clients, what present the testimonial publicly, they were praising the business partners for helping them to organize forecasting process. For example, to use TM1 to make that forecasting data more accurate. And we listened to that and we said, we need to have something in a product. So all our clients would be able to jump on it and start using it. So we start small about already 5 years ago. And our first releases were based on stories and on the client cases from just a small number of clients. And we were able to deliver for the cases and we were able to produce the data. But as soon as we started, we had more requests, right? And we had our roadmap, what we delivered, packed with new features. Because as you know, TM1 allowing immense flexibility, and that immense flexibility leads to what models are different and how people are approaching that modeling could be different. But we still want our forecast to satisfy those varieties and produce forecasting data based on AI models. And all what you see on that slide has been already delivered, especially the last deliveries of baseline forecast and multivariate forecast were a big hit. And so here is the slide of my star, what I am giving to what we are using in planning analytics, and what would be the advantages if you will compare us to any other tools, planning tools on the market. Our power is coming from TM1 server algorithms for data spreading. on consolidation cell. So you can use forecasting and you can use relative proportional from the consolidated levels to the leaves. That way, you can combine AI algorithms for forecasting and TM1 server algorithms for data spreading. It's very unique and very powerful combination. Also, we are using IBM research libraries, and right now those are Java libraries, what's been given quite impressive results for forecasting. We are making use cases for future state variables in multivariate. So, for example, if you have projections for certain KPIs, such as, let's say, consumer spend index, you can use those future state variables, like, let's say, what is projected by your government for upcoming years. So you can use 2026, 2027 data projected and influence your current forecast. So it would be more accurate for the upcoming months, right? So it's in the cases when you will use Arimax algorithm. So it is with the future state variables. Also, our flexibility for saving statistical details. If you are like on demand, you can save that on cell comments. Or if you are using baseline forecast, when you can save those statistical details about your models and all the additional information for your data scientist team, let's say, in a statistical cube, what is automatically created if you are using baseline forecast. And we are adding even more into that because the flexibility is very like touches every corner now. We are trying to bring that ideas of TM1 being flexible into forecasting, of being also flexible, and you can decide by yourself how you would like to do it. So we don't require you to have more licenses if you would like to use AI-based forecast, and there is no quota execution. So you can execute just based on your resources. And you have a consistent support. So it's not with a third party, it's all in IBM. It's like our algorithms, our product, everything is there. So what we have in forecasting right now in IBM Planning Analytics, we have the method, like the models, what you can use. It's in my left column. So it would be univariate forecast, what is using 9 whole winter models for your data. That would be univariate forecast. It would be on a time series, right? But 9 models. Plus, we have multivariate forecast right now with 2 models, VAR and Arimax, as I already said. And both of those forecasting methods with 11 models, they are available on both. In an on-demand forecast, what you will do on your cube view in your books, in Planning Analytic workspace, or via baseline forecast, what is much more powerful forecasting process, what are allowing you to produce forecast for thousands of accounts, thousands of product lines, let's say. And what are the key personas? We have modelers and admins. Those people, they can define the baseline forecast for your entire company according to your standards. And they can schedule that forecast through the external schedulers and run it at a convenient time. They also can create certain scripts to use API endpoints, because being a modern product, we do provide those API endpoints to make it more robust, more convenient. Also, we have analysts, what is our central persona in planning analytic workspace. And analysts, we can run the baseline forecast provided the modelers give them permission. And we can use on-demand forecast to preview and run like data regarding the accounts. They don't need to be data scientists as well as modelers. Nobody in that key personas supposed to have data science degree or education. And consumers, they could still analyze the forecasting data. So that's our landscape of people who are using that. And we are trying to produce very simple approach to that. And we are careful how we're producing that. So if your data is very sensitive, you can decide and hide the button to forecast, right? But if you really need it, then that button is available and enabling you produce AI forecasting when you need to get that data. And it will automatically detect your seasonality and trend. If you think it's easy to do, I have to tell you it's not, because what you can catch with a human eyes is not that accurate as if it's based on machine algorithms, right? On mathematical models. So it's a very good idea to take that advantage and not spend hours with Excel formulas trying to produce that forecasting data, but just automatically catch it with algorithm. After we deliver those data, we're thinking how we can increase our accuracy, and we decide to go with Watson X for outlier detection and correction. It was released a while ago, and it will evaluate your last 20% of data to see any discrepancies. Not only you're able to ignore historical periods, what are not typical, but also you're able to detect and adjust outliers. Important point here is what the data on your cubes are not adjusted. It's just mathematical models where outlier correction is being made. But your accuracy is increasing by using that capability. Again, it doesn't require, like outlier detection doesn't require any extra licenses. It's already available. And also we provide that forecasting line visualization with dashed line. Multiple line could be supported, but your cube should have at least 4 dimensions. So you can put 1 dimension to indicate for colors of the lines. And then I have already mentioned the API endpoints, and we do provide the endpoints for local clients and clients who are using planning analytics as a service with Azure and AWS. It's our baseline forecasting URL, right? And we've heard from the businesses who've been using and adopting our forecasting, what is actually giving them much better ideas of how to progress with products. Because, for example, Idaho Forest Group, they have certain designated areas and certain limits for how long they can store the wood, right? So we're saying using the forecast, really saving the time, the products, and they said they love that statistical details being kept for them. So you can read those stories on our IBM product pages. That's the testimonials of our clients who's been adopting our functionality. And more exciting news, I have what is coming. This year we delivered change member set in baseline forecast. So before, like we started baseline forecast where the people who would run it would be able to change just the time for the forecasting period, right? For example, modeler will put it like for 6 months, but if analyst needed for just 3 months, he would be able to change it and run it for his own like needs and tasks. Right now on baseline forecast, you can adjust basically everything. Your context member could be adjusted, your member set could be adjusted, even the statistical details could be written to a different slice. And also we know what human touch still needed for forecasting data. So we allow to set minimum and maximum value for on-demand forecasting. So for example, if you can't pass over 1000 units for a certain products, you can put that max for the value in your on-demand, like exercise. Then we also deliver support, and we're pretty consistent. So univariate was available with baseline. Right now, multivariate forecast is being available in baseline. And also we increase number of variables to 3. And we will provide that minimum and maximum value set in baseline forecast too, to make it more robust for the companies. We will provide parameters values via API. What I mean by parameters, and I will show you it in the demos, there are certain parameters what you set you would be able to set for your forecast if you noticed what something is working better for your models. And select models in baseline forecast. Again, we are not leaving analysts with those tasks what are probably should be decided by the business with modelers and admins, but it would be a pretty interesting exercise because you can execute with different models. Right now, we are running all the models, for example, for cold winter, if you are using univariate forecasting, but we are thinking about allowing you to produce your forecast with different models, so you can analyze when the variance and see which product lines forecasting is working in a more accurate way and take it into the future execution of a forecast. And we promise to what we will allow forecasting in PA in universal reports, because we are aware what many people are using PA. It's our users what are keen on that, and we will support it in the upcoming year. LCM for baseline forecast, it's the management, so a life cycle management tool. So you would be able to test your baseline forecast in your development environment and then migrate it to production. So to make it more secure and validated for your users. And of course, many times I've heard that question, we need to be able to run baseline forecast from the action button. It's also coming. And even more exciting news, we start to work on a project to support different libraries. So not only Java libraries would be supported, but we're also looking at the Python libraries, because we've seen very good data coming out of Python libraries, and it will be supporting, of course, machine learning because of the Python libraries. So probably I will skip through that slide, but you can observe it here and take notes for upcoming questions. Probably I will just tell you what, for convenience of a forecast, we know what people are not sometimes feeling secure enough to write that data to the cube right away. So we give them a capability to export the preview data into CSV. And it could be analyzed, adjusted, and then exported back to your cube. So just to make sure all the data has been validated prior to writing it to the cubes. On this slide, again, it's already what I've been talking on my delivery slide, but I would like to say probably what we are going to add ARIMA model for univariate, because also it's working very well for scenarios if you are using small time periods. For example, you are trying to execute or your forecast for the weekly sales. So ARIMA is going to help with those cases. You still can trick it right now and use Arimax as a RIMA, but we are trying to be consistent and provide it so you would be aware of what is happening. Again, that's, I would say, our impressive upcoming forecasting features. And it just shows how much we're investing into that area because we know it's important for our clients. So I will probably stop here because that's the most complex area of what we can talk. And I will go and do a demo. So let me make sure my server is up and running, and I will share again. So my entire screen. And that would be my server. Hopefully it's up and running. It's our nighttime, so we're sometimes updating the servers, and I was asking my development team to take care of it and not to update today. I'm in Canada right now, so it's 8:20, like almost 8:30 at night time, right now. So here I am in a book. I have that button to forecast, and I have two choices, univariate and multivariate forecasting. With univariate, you see, that's what analyst is just have to do. Select the forecasting period and preview. That's what I meant about the simplicity and security of the process. And right away, you would be able to see additional capabilities, what we are providing with generative AI. If you've been following those series of product presentations, Sami El-Sheikh, our product manager for generative AI capabilities in the product, he is working on number of very impressive capabilities, and here on my right part of the screen you see forecast summary, what is being delivered. What is it about? It's about that statistical detail page. Again, because you might not be very familiar, what does it mean that those values of like measures of errors and model fit? If you don't have a clue what does it mean, you can take the advantage of a forecast summary and you can copy it. You can regenerate that summary. For example, you will decide to adjust your outliers so it will make sense to rerun it, right? And here you can see what one of the cold winter models been selected. It's with exponential smoothing and it's additive, trend and seasonality. And that forecasting summary is explaining everything about those details, about those errors in a human language. So it's a good advantage to use that, right? So when, if you will run that forecast and save it into your cube, you would be able to explain it by copying that and putting it into your backing up documents around that forecast. What is interesting here also with preview, right? So if I will go back You can see what I can switch between different products, right? On even on my preview, and the summary will be regenerated. And you can see here what the model changed. So for every product, it would be a different model, what would be applied to the forecasting data generation, just because that would be the best fit according to our IBM research algorithm. And like again, you can check up to 25, let's say, products and preview them. It's usually very iterative process. People would like to see what is happening prior to committing that data. Or if they would like to feel also safe, they can commit it into the sandbox, personal sandbox, if it's created. There is an additional panel, but analysts don't see that. It's for modelers again to set it up, because modelers will decide to what slice you would like to, like they streamline your forecasting process, and we will provide the hierarchy and select a member to save your prediction, right? And you can save upper bound and lower bound as well. And as I said before, you can save not only upper and lower bound, but also you can save statistical details as a comment. And you see here, you can use, like you can decide what historical data to use. Should it be like the whole TM1 cube of data, or just the data in your exploration? You can set up your confidence interval, what you find like more applicable to certain forecasting processes. Adjust outliers could be turned on. You can ignore historical time periods, what are not typical for your business. It is very important, because we all know what sometimes certain things happening what are not usually what we have with history prior and after those events. And that's what we don't have it yet, but it's coming. Remember, it's my development environment where we are working on delivering those new features I've been talking on a roadmap. Here you can see that very important feature, and relative proportional should be a default, because proportional is actually taking lots of resources. So I ask the development to switch the position. So relative proportional is a way to go usually. And you can decide how you would like to spread data from consolidation. Should it be auto seasonality, or should it base on your specific time periods and range of time periods? It is very important and very powerful, of course. And here I was going to, seasonality auto detect. For example, you know what cold winter models were very good for detecting seasonality, and you can use them. They are not very demanding for your historical data. So you can give, I think, even with 6, 7 historical points, you can still predict something. But you can use manual seasonality, right? So if you are aware what it's not 12 but 11 for your business, you can enter that right now. And of course, like it's to a certain progression, right? So we advise use seasonality auto detection, because like it's based on the algorithm, but again, we're trying to give the flexibility to you. If you know your data better than algorithm does, then it's probably smart to use that manually entered seasonality. Our multivariate forecasting models, they are not probably as successful on catching seasonality, but still, even though multivariate forecast will produce a straight line for your forecasting data, it is still based on an algorithm, and many clients told me what it's quite accurate, even having that straight line of data, because they were saying they were trying to imitate it before with kind of like approximate seasonality, human seasonality, but it didn't work as well, even as a straight line what we're giving. So again, to you humanize it might look weird, but mathematics, it's very reliable science, and it's good to use it and adopt to those features probably earlier in a cycle. So as soon as you will start to do your back testing, right? So you can check your historical data, but try to predict it with our algorithms, let's say for the previous year, 2024, and you would see how close it hits, or if you can combine your products into certain sets where the hits are very, very close and successful, and to some, like gray area. Why gray area might happen? Because you might have very sparse data for historical values. If you have too many zeros, it's very hard to predict what is going to happen, right? Because it's valid what you have zeros, but maybe it's not typical. So it might be for you to decide, because mathematical models might not be successfully producing those continuation of the values into that. That's all the exciting point I am sharing with you here. But what our clients like a lot is the idea of using baseline forecast, because it is available for modelers and admins, and you will be just creating an asset, right? Just an asset, what is like for execution of a forecast for thousands of lines. And those lines, they could be consolidated, and you can push the data down to leaves with a relative proportional spreading algorithm. And it is very similar what I've been showing you on-demand forecast. So all you need to do is to run, right? And as I said, with that baseline URL, you can use external scheduler, both for Windows and for Unix-based programs. So it is available just with external programs and scripts. But if you will follow my like demo here, you can see what I've done on a cube viewer is much similar what I will do in creating that asset. I will select my database, my cube. I will decide on a forecast type, univariate or multivariate, because again, you might know if it's highly seasonal data or not seasonal data, maybe you can, start to experiment there. And then you will go and you will put your time period, and your time period could be stacked time period, because if it's like combinations of year, quarter, month, what you keep on different dimensions, it is still quite possible. They allow you to move your dimensions and stack them. So that's not an issue. So if your model is with 2-3 dimensions for the time dimension to express it, we will support it. And again, similarly, like is on-demand forecast, you would be able to ignore certain time period before or after. And then you will set the scope. So what is in a context? And here I would probably bring the point what is understandable for the TM1 developers, right? If you trying to forecast on a large number of accounts on a large number of product lines, it's probably better to create a cube where you don't have lots of the context, right? So I would say the feasibility in terms of consumption of your memory, it's probably better to have cubes with 6, 7, 5 dimensions, but not like 17, right? Because too much context, too much of a sparse data, it's not good for the performance. And you see those little check marks. It's where you as a modeler will decide for your company standards. Should you allow the context member, which context member you would allow to override on execution done by analysts. And same for forecast members. You can allow override or not. Everything is possible in setting that asset. And you can add variables if it would be a multivariate forecast. You will be able to add up to 3 variables right now. And you see here again, your confidence level interval could be set. You can put what I said, relative proportional, what is much better, algorithm in terms of a performance. When you will accept a range and select a dimension. Again, your upper bound, your best case and worst case scenario could be written into that forecast. And as soon as you will make it active and you will run it, you will be able to see the results. So that's probably all about my demo. And here, we were going through univariate, but multivariate is available. And what is good here, I will probably bring it to you. I have that cube, what is like a separate cube from the cube where I keep my external variables, right? So the only requirements what I have to use those external variables is the same time scale. So time scale should be the same. As soon if it's conformant, then you can use from any cubes that data and improve accuracy of your forecast. Again, let me select my product lines and preview for multivariate forecasting. You see here you would have that forecasting summary again. It hasn't been released, but because it's a demo, I feel privileged to show what we are doing in terms of generative AI capabilities in the product. Again, it's quite an interesting area. What would indicate what AI model it's using for those, explanations. So it's available for multivariate as well. And you can see what I selected 2 variables, unemployment and inflation, to influence my product forecast. And on statistical details, I can see what it's a war algorithm. Arimax probably is not selected because it requires more of a historical data feed, more data points. That's why, I don't see Arimax. And as I said, we are promising to allow you to be able to select the model in baseline forecast in the future. And also there is a contribution from different variables. Unemployment is a slightly low in contribution towards accuracy of that forecasting process. Another probably interesting things what I didn't show, but it's worth showing, what on our preview or on our line you will see confidence envelope, and also on your charts what you can create for your analysis and your analytics, you would be able to take advantage of those lines, and your users would be able to see what are the best scenarios and worst scenarios. So here the forecast is coming very close. That's why I don't see the confidence envelope, but it really depends on the cases. And I spent like lots of time demoing. Probably it's a good time to take questions right now. I can stop sharing.
That was excellent. I think all the forecasting needs that we have in TM1 would be really, really happy with that. Well, there have been few things coming in, but one thing that I was interested to know a bit more about, Svetlana, is uh, the scalability of what we do in TM1 is probably miles ahead of what competition or peers are doing. Using univariate, we're not compromising the scalability, so we still go to the level of the. I've already seen you do it at the product level and the time dimension, so we're not going to be compromising on the scalability of TM1 in doing the univariate forecasting. Or what's your comments on those?
No, we won't. Yeah, so it's scalable. We're
Mm,
supporting that. The only thing is probably if you are executing on a huge number of forecasting members, right? It like probably do it in the off business hours.
mm,
So you are not taking like all the resources during the working time. So that's the only comment, to do it in a smart way. But when people come in the morning to work and make decisions, that
mm,
data will be available. And that's not a secret, right? Like all the models what are using like algorithms to produce data, it's a high compute cycle, right? So if you want the
mm,
accurate data, you have to rely on it. And I heard about use cases from our clients what sometimes it's taken, like not with our model, but like let's say with SPSS, what is statistical, right? And you can feed as many external variables as you need. So sometimes the process of calculating the result might take 24 or 48 hours, but it's normal. I know about the forecast from the clients what runs for like days, right,
yes,
to
yes,
produce. So it's not a secret, but we're
yes.
trying to be feasible. Yeah.
Uh, Yeah, no, no, that's good. Oh, we probably all know about many examples of where things have been running for a long time, but
Mhm.
these the use cases, going a bit deeper into the use cases. So, what are some of the use cases that you're seeing that the clients are using around the world, using this at the moment?
Just like you name it, lots of cases, and I'm very impressed and very keen on the cases what I've seen. I think I'm privileged to see that variety. For example, it could be with like very often it's with sales, right? So let's say like the company what is selling lots of products in pharmacies in the country. They are trying to predict how much of each product lines they would need, and how accurate it would be. It's one of the cases. In other cases, what is actually very complex would be with like internet scheduling the flights for
Mm,
airport, right? So probably rings the bell, right, with you, Amendra.
mm,
But it's not
yeah.
with that client. It was a different client what came up with very use cases, like we need to predict the number of passengers passing through airports, both like domestic and internationals, and like it's different stores in the areas, right, where
Mm,
they will have the goods for people to take advantage of like tax-free purchases. And so based on the number of passengers, they would like to predict how much of the products of each, like product lines they need to stock in the
mm,
airport. And those cases, sometimes I have to be honest, it's not easy to cover with our algorithms, because if you think about business, we are doing better with time periods, and it's like, okay, we can handle bi-weekly. But if you are thinking about daily cases, what would be the airline cases, then how you express it, right? It's much more like complex cases, because it's the day in one year, for example, it's a holiday. It's not the day in the previous year. So that comparison is not easy to do. I have to assure you what we're actually working on that, because I was checking it like very, very seriously, because it's very valid case. But we need to add that ARIMA algorithm, because that ARIMA algorithm might work better for smaller time periods. And also we need Python libraries to be able to exclude um, Saturday and Sunday, if those are days when like the flights are flying differently, right? Because right now it's hard to express with what I showed you. And we were trying to add like TM1 rules with sinus and cosinus, right? To express
Mm.
that. It was almost there, but not exactly. That's why we need Python library. So I know how close you can come with business rules on the cubes to express that as a variable, right? But again, like I would say, Python library will allow us that later.
Yeah, no, I mean, as you're speaking, there's so many of the supply chain demand planning models that we've got that
Mhm.
can benefit from this univariate at the moment. So I think we'll be talking a lot more about this with both you and some of our clients that are really deep into this at this stage. There's a quick question that's come in. What would you say is the optimum number of dimensions for to run this in the forecasting cube?
Actually, thank you for that question. I was trying to please all the clients, but I've been through, sessions with them, and I've seen the cubes with 17 dimensions, and I was like, why? We have reporting cubes when you
Mm.
want a fast reporting. So, in the same way, you have to have a forecasting cube if you want to save on your resources. So my advice would be to have just dimensions what are influential and necessary for that analysis. So your time dimension should be included, of course, your product lines or your members to forecast, and also some like important points about your forecast. So if you're doing your forecast based on channels, on organizational structure, I would advise on including those into the context. And of course, like your version dimension, right? Because it's where
Mm.
you are writing that forecast to. But
Mm.
that's the preferable way of doing that. Just putting those dimensions what must be in a picture and must provide you that analysis. So I would say the feasibility and the best performance would be in on the cubes what are kind of like between 4 to 8
Mm.
10 dimensions. Don't try to go over because of that sparsity and not necessarily needed information what you don't need to produce accurate forecast.
Yes, yes. No, no. I personally am a big fan of breaking up the processing and the reporting to make sure that the user experience is good. Because while we really happy about the processing side of it, we also have to be mindful when we deploy it into with the users. Not everyone is interested to go into the depths of forecasting and wait for the data to process. So the reporting layer or the messes probably should have a reporting queue which is not sort of affected by this at this stage. um the I really also like the way you sneakily showed us what's happening with the Gen AI side of things. So I think that could be our next webinar as that comes out, because that's flying at the moment. Everyone's talking about it. Um,
Yeah.
uh, there is another question. Somebody who joined in late, slept in perhaps. What plans are there to incorporate other algorithm apart from exponential smoothing?
Yeah, thank you for that question, Armand. Exactly. We have, as I said, 11 algorithms right now, plus additional one what you can trick into. So it would be 9 variations of cold winters, as you already pointed out as exponential smoothing, but also VAR algorithm and Arimax algorithm. We are working towards providing ARIMA algorithm for like baseline. On demand, you can trick it, but baseline needed ARIMA algorithm for certain use cases. And also, there are additional algorithms what we are planning on. It would be BATS algorithm, what are giving good results. And as I was saying, we are going into Python libraries. So I can probably show a little bit more of my presentation again, of my slides. Just give me a second. I will go back to sharing the screen. Share. And let me fetch my presentation. So from current slide. So here I have that listed, right? So BATS coming as well as ARIMA. And we know with exponential smoothing algorithms, they are fast and reliable and easy to interpret. So our original task of equipping the analyst with ability to forecast without being a data scientist is working well. But we still see some cons in that scenario because there is a limited ability for us right now to capture all the non-linear patterns, right? So there are some disadvantages in that simplicity, as always. So we are thinking about going into Python options, right? So that Python options, again, it would be in the hands of modelers, not in the analyst. We would be able to specify parameters in through that, machine-based models using Python libraries. But we're still thinking on how the interface will look like. We're thinking about the tree-based algorithm. So it's performing very well because we were getting like the snippets of clients' data where we were saying that's the most difficult, combinations for us, stories to get like the reliable results, and we're trying to act on that. So using that Python libraries, it's widely adopted, so we are not inventing something new. We are just saying we are very capable of capturing that complexity, non-linear relationship. And so that would be with true machine learning, right? And it's like very effective, but with the same, like from the same perspective, you would be more responsible what data you are using to forecast, right? Right now we are saying, okay, if you have 5, 7 data points, you still can use that linear forecasting. But with ML-based models, you have to be responsible for providing very dense historical data in order to execute on that. And that's responsibility from your side. But if you look at the those stats models versus like machine learning models, of course you will see much more variety in the results, much more accuracy. And it's exactly what I was saying. You see, like on the left, you see that straight line. it's very often what might happen with the data being generated by our linear algorithms, right? It would be like straight line, but still that line is highly accurate. But with machine learning, of course, it would be even better. So I am excited to be at the beginning of that project, and we are keen on executing that because we seen very high demand for that as well. But the responsibility of a modeler would grow as well, right? Because more data
Mm.
would be needed and probably some interaction with scripting too. Probably I should have showed you my last slide, but not sure if it's very important. But yeah, that's what it is, right? Validation strategy would be like following. So that's our data scientists. We are doing all those related research on the test data, on training data, on time series cross validation. So it is very promising. So please start to adopt the feature, and you would be there for a longer journey and better accuracy for your companies.
All right. If you've got time, we've got a few more quick questions coming in. So, one is this: there's so much new things coming in. What's the best way to keep up to date? Like, where should one go to, apart from coming to Octane, obviously? Where should one go to find information on what's new and what's coming out, and perhaps some training as well?
Okay, so actually, we are going to have a huge event, Tech Exchange, what is coming very soon. It's starting, I believe, on the 6th of October until October 9th in Orlando. So it's Tech Exchange event where we are going to have very technical sessions for you, our clients and business partners, and our clients are going to present what they are doing in their business. Our business partners are going to ask like tough questions. So product management, development, our architects are going to be there, and I'm going to have in my hands free like hands-on labs, and I think we're delivering 5 labs. So whoever is able to come or planning to come, you would have all of those details available. But also, I am very keen on spreading the knowledge and increase the adoption, because I know how beneficial it is for the businesses. Even if I was talking inside my family about that, like my relatives were like, I need that because I'm doing such and such thing, like even for studies, like the student
Yeah.
would be like, I need that. Yes. So I
Yes.
know how, like important it is to be accurate with your predictions and
Mm-mm.
use the power of the algorithm. So I am publishing the steps of how to do a forecast, even in documentation. We have tutorials, but hands-on labs will have more. And we are going to have like planning analytic assistant lab, where you can see all we are providing through combination of TM1 server and generative models, what could be extracted and delivered in terms of plain language to the end user. So lots of exciting things.
Yeah, excellent. Great you mentioned Tech Exchange. So we'll be there late next month. Uh, if you are interested to go to Tech Exchange, I might have 3 tickets available. You don't have to be our client. If you are interested to attend, I have some additional tickets that I can probably give you. But talk to me offline, and we'll work that out. There is another question which Armand has asked, and I've been thinking about this as well. Is because you explain it so well, Svetlana. So maybe talk to us a bit more about the use cases of when to use multivariate and univariate, and are the algorithms different between the two?
Yes, of course. And it's probably a very valid question for the lab as well, Armand. Thank you for that. That's what I was suggesting, but probably I wasn't very obvious about it. What I'm suggesting and what our business partners are helping our clients to do it usually to design certain assets, certain books where you will store your forecasting results uh, and analyze the variance, right, between them. And you will keep statistical details and analyze them, which models are using like such and such model and which are coming closer into like predictions, right? So you will build your knowledge about your products using that capability. So by analyzing that variance, and starting earlier in a cycle, you would be the decision maker what to use and how to produce it. So that's absolutely true. If you are using univariate or multivariate forecast, the result will be different. If in multivariate forecast you will switch between variables, the results might also be adjusted to take those different variables into generating the results. So it's every time, like the decision, the definition, what you will define for your business based on like what is influential, right? So that's how it's working.
Yes, no, no. We've got number of clients that are exploring this at the moment, where they bring external data. Also, was the interesting point you made about the school holidays is not the same, so you can't always use what happened last year as a basis for this year's forecast, because the dates and days and weather, number of variables that you put in could be different. And the other thing is, probably most of us, most of our clients also need to start having a cube on tariffs now to influence the
Mm.
forecast. That's a volatility in itself. um,
Mhm.
there's a few other bits coming in, but we sort of are almost at time. Any final words from you, Svetlana? Anything else that you probably wanted to impart today, which you haven't been able to do so at the moment? Or
Well,
maybe a sneaky look at how you decide within the product side, in when you're behind closed doors, which enhancement or which functionality to focus on. How do you decide that?
well, I'm probably biased, right? Because with generative forecasting, like I don't know. I'm reserved sometimes because I've seen so many hallucinations. I don't want to see anymore. Like I do use generative AI to search, like, what was that movie? Like I'm fine. But if it's like I'm thinking about my money, I would rather use mathematical models to see, like the results. I am not using generative AI there yet. And talking with the businesses, producing, like products, I think like mathematical models is very important thing. And I do have the support of my team, my teammates and product management. I do have support of our VP because we do also like see the power of it. We experience what the clients are saying uh, about that capability. Because, for example, if we will ask, like, what was the best thing delivered in 2024-25? Some of them they are saying like baseline forecast is saving us so much time. What is like just like making it's different story right now. So that's why I know we are on the right way. And my heart is like with baseline forecasting and as well with a workbench, right? Because we are doing extremely good parsing for the scripts. We know what it's not easy to learn the product. It might be tedious to work with it, but we are trying to deliver the best what it is right now in industry. we have very good developers who are very keen on delivering the best of the best for developers. So it's actually the advantage, right, to be in that area because the excitement is here even internally. So I'm very happy with all the people who attended today session presentation just because it shows what people are interested. People want to use mathematics in their predictions, and the questions were just showing what people are very keen in that area and very knowledgeable. So thank you very much for all your questions, attention, and good luck in adoption of new features.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. That was very, very impressive and very, very exciting as well. So with this, we'll come to time, and hopefully we'll be able to get some time from you in the coming months to do a follow up if possible.
Okay, sounds good.
All
We
right.
also
Thank
have
you.
what's new section for the product.
Yes.
So everything
Yes.
what is coming is available, and the table where you would be able to sort by it's probably also coming again into action very soon. We're trying to revive it. So
All right, awesome. Thank you. Your passion comes through when you talk about it. So it's amazing. Thank you once again, Svetlana. So
thank you, Amendra, for organizing that.
right.
Thank you, Octane.
All right. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.